Welcome to Daytona Beach, Florida, home to America's premier muscle car showroom, Hankster's Hot Rods, where we own and house anywhere from 65 to 80 vehicles at any given time. If you are watching the vehicle we are about to present to you today on any other advertisement other than Hankster's website, which is hanksters.com, please be sure to visit our website so you can determine whether this is in fact a current vehicle that we have for sale. If you are watching this on YouTube, on classiccars.com, on Hemmings, this vehicle may no longer be available for sale. We own all of our cars, so you're dealing directly with the seller. There are no third parties involved. We are not a consignment dealership. We welcome all of you to visit Hankster's Hot Rods to look at the vehicle you might be purchasing. We encourage all of our buyers to come in person. Daytona Beach is a great tourist destination. There's a lot to do here. It's a fun 2-3 day trip, maybe even a week-long trip. Come check out our cars for yourself. Check out underneath. We'll take it on a test drive, have some fun. Hanksters.com, and if you want to reach us by phone, it's 386-944-9219. Enjoy today's presentation.
Okay, what we have here is a 1963 Plymouth Belvedere post sedan. And under the hood of this guy is a 426 max wedge engine. Now, I don't believe the car started life this way, but it does have a date code, period correct, a 426 block in it. Does have a set of max wedge heads on it, the correct 1963 max wedge aluminum cross ram intake manifold with the correct set of carburetors on it, and the correct linkage that goes along with them. So everything in this car presents itself to be a 426 max wedge, including not reproduction, but the original cast iron exhaust manifolds that would have come with this car. They even went as far as the brake lines. When you look at them for 426 wedge, that's the way they routed the brake lines, and also on this side the brake lines are run that way. Devin will show you that later. And the wiring in a 426 max wedge comes around this way as opposed to coming across the top of the valve pan cover because of the intake manifold. So everything on this thing presents itself to be a real 426 max wedge, but we're telling you it isn't. The distributor is a Prestolite with the oil provision on it so that you can oil the shaft and the top of the Prestolite distributor. Chrysler alternator, of course, 7-blade fan, correct Mopar style radiator on top of it, and a real Mopar style battery with the filler cap still intact on it. It's not a cover. This is a real battery for the car. It has the correct style hoses, top and bottom, the correct original horns that would have come with this car in 1963. You can see the core support is totally undisrupted. It's not been modified in any way. No indentures or anything on it showing that this thing suffered any trauma at all through the years. Correct air cleaners on it, correct fuel lines, everything is correct for a 426 max wedge car. This one still has the heat hooked up to it, to the passenger compartment, and it's also routed correctly for a 426 max car. So this is a very impressive engine compartment. This car would have been an 11-to-1 motor, 415 horsepower rated from the factory, certainly grossly underrated. But that's what we have here. We have a duplication of a real cross-ram max wedge 63 Belvedere Plymouth race car for the era. Now we're going to go around the rest of it and show you everything we can on it. 1963 Plymouth Belvedere post sedan. This car is incredible. Look at the gaps on the hood, to the fender, to the cowl, the fitment, both sides. Everything on this car reeks quality. This is not a driver quality paint job. This is certainly well above that. The fitment, the alignment, everything is so spot on this car. I can't overemphasize how nice the car is. In my estimation, anyway, this is one of the nicest cars I've seen for a long period of time as far as fitment precision goes. And paint quality. Now the grille is the original style grille for it. No marks or dents or scuffs or anything on it. The anodization on the grille itself is nice and fresh and clean looking. The bezels around your front parking lights are really crystal clear and nice. Everything nice. There's no deterioration whatsoever on the chrome on the front bumper. There's no marks from anyone putting their feet up on it through the years. Bumper alignment is as correct as you can possibly get. And there's also no dingers or marks on the front of the valance underneath the front bumper. It's kind of hard to see, but Devin will give you a bunch of pictures so that you'll be able to see the integrity of this thing. Incredible, incredible car. Going down the driver's side, it's got a correct style set of 15-inch steel wheels with the dog dash hubcaps that would be correct for that era. Instead of being a Savoy with no trim whatsoever, the Belvedere came with a trim piece that went down the entire length of the car. The wiper arms are the correct ones. The blades are, those aren't correct, I don't believe, but I'm not absolutely sure. I think they shouldn't have an air foil on them. Looking inside the dash area itself, trim around the window is just as clean and fresh as you could ever hope to find. The rubber's nice and soft around the windshield also. It's just plain glass on it, no tinted glass on the windshield or the sides of this vehicle. And looking down onto the dash pad, it's just as nice as you could ever hope. Great looking car. Look at this, look at this. This is just totally amazing. Look at the gaps on everything on this car, just everything. Everything's finely polished around it, your drip rail molding, there's no marks or indentures on it. Pretty plain car, so we don't have a lot of trim and a lot of chrome on it. The door handles themselves, no patina. Again, before I even open it, take a look at the door fitment and the whole entire door fitment. Look how it fits up around the roof and to your quarter glass. Incredible. Your locks, everything is just the way it should be. You need a little oil on the hinge. Door panels are the original panels that belong on this. A little fading on the original armrest that came with it, and they are the molded type. It's not been redone. It does have a set of seat belts in the front. There are none in the back. The steering wheel, at least at this point, doesn't show any cracks or separations. We'll see it a little better once we get inside, but at this point it doesn't show any. Nice clear gauge cluster in it. Punch button automatic, of course. This guy does have carpeting in it. The Savoy would have had tar paper floors. Belvedere came with carpeting in it. The original style and color seat that would have been released with this guy in 1963. Headliner, just as nice and clean and fresh as you'd ever hope to find in a car like this. Everything on this car just reeks quality, everything. Door sills and your rubbers, everything is nice and fresh and clean. Definitely need some oil though. Door closes just like it should. Going down the side of the car, you can see that everything is just as aligned as nicely as can possibly be. Again, clear glass in the back light. Trim around the back light is just flawless. There's no dents or marks or scuffs or anything whatsoever on it. Everything held on with the Phillips screws the way it should have been from the factory. No marks in the paint on the roof. Down the sides of the car, no door dents, marks, scuffs, scratches, absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing. Going around the back of the car, oh boy, this bumper is the same as it was on the front. There's no marks or scuffs or indications of any wear or scuff marks through the years. Very plain car. Again, Plymouth on the tail section of this car, but look at the fitment of this rear deck too. Just totally amazing how well everything is fit. Everything is so precise. Look at this. I mean, the alignment of this trunk piece to the tail sections here. Original, how about that? A bias ply spare tire that came with this car with a jack and a jack handle and jack base. The quarter panels appear to be the original ones. They still have the splatter undercoating that would have been done by Chrysler in this era of time. And the, let's see if I can get this up without tearing things up. There's the trunk. You can see how well preserved it is. There's the original hardboard pieces that go to fill in the well area in the back. Just an incredibly well done. Talk about originality. Look at this. There's the original jack instruction sticker underneath the deck of this guy yet. And again, everything is done. Nothing's oversprayed. Everything's so professionally done on this car. Okay, passenger side. Again, everything on this thing is just finely fit. There's not a single thing that you can see out of place on it. Not a single solitary thing. Everything is just as fresh and clean. The wipes, whiskers, I forgot to mention on the other side, they're new, and look at the precision fit that they have. And usually these are up in one spot or another. This one isn't. Look at this alignment of this door, the same as it was on the other side. And again, the door gap, incredibly precise. Same thing on this side. We have a couple auxiliary gauges that are underneath the dash. These were a very basic car, very plain car. The difference from a Savoy to a Belvedere was just a few different appointments, a couple upgrade appointments, that's about it. But this is a very nicely done car, and this stuff appears to be original. I don't think these door panels or seats have been redone. They appear to be the original ones. Look at the doors, everything. All your seams, spot on. Can't be any better. This is usually really deteriorated. Forgot to mention it on the other side, but there's a little tiny bit of patina, but you probably won't see it, but I can tell you it's there. I can feel it. That's why I run my hands over this stuff. So a lot of times you can't see something, but you can feel it and then take note of it. Same thing at the door gap in the front. Look at this, Chrysler Pentastar Belvedere designation. And we're back where we started again at the nose of this guy. This thing's a 1963 Plymouth Belvedere. It now houses, and I don't know what it started life as, but it now houses a 426 max wedge, correct 63 block heads and intake for it. Part numbers are all there. You can check them. The quality of the car is very outstanding. The fit, finish, everything on this vehicle is much better than a driver quality car. The paint certainly is. The fitment is spot on. You cannot get a vehicle of any type to fit any better than this guy does here. These things made 415 horsepower from the factory, and they were king of the hill for a long time, from 62 till about 65, 66. This is what you saw staying in front of pretty much everything else. The only thing that ever gave it a run for its money was a Ford Thunderbolt, and that was for a short period of time, and even then it was a toss-up which guy was going to win, till Chrysler came out with the Hemi, and then it was all over in 64. But anyway, this car is just a very high-grade car, and we have it here at Hanksters. And if you're in the market for a very, very collectible Mopar, this is a guy you better take note of. We encourage everybody to come down and look at him, but Devin's going to compile so much data on this particular vehicle that you'll be able to look at it for a substantial amount of time and study it and see exactly what we have here. And so if you can't come down, it's going to give you some good studying material to look at one of the nicest cars that you could ever buy. And it's here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. Take a look at it at hanksters.com. Okay, this is the underside of our 1963 Belvedere 426 Max Wedge style vehicle. It does have a period correct 1963 engine in it. It does have a set of Max Wedge cylinder heads and correct intake manifold and carburetors on it. Redone steering box on it. There's no sway bar in the front. There was no need for that. This car was only made for one purpose, to go in a straight line. Everything on this car, as you can see, looking at it real quickly, is new. It has new starter on it, new tie rod ends, new ball joints, new shocks, new associated brake hardware, drum brakes in the front, new pitman arm, new idler arm. Just everything on the vehicle has been done to the nth degree. Subframes, you can see there's no marks or dents or disturbances in them whatsoever. The steel pieces that are usually bent up in the front here from people jacking them up through the years are nice and intact and dent-free. Floor pans are the original floor pans. You can see where the spot welds are still, where the rocker panel and the floor pan come together. Somebody put a drive shaft loop on it here. Gee, I wonder why they would have put that there. Maybe they were thinking of doing some drag racing. 3-inch primary pipes with a crossover pipe ballast tube going into a set of 3-inch pipes going back to Flowmaster mufflers. The way they came from the factory was with a end on it here, though, that you could conceivably run it straight off the exhaust headers. It was an early system. It was a tuned system for an early car. New stainless steel, appears to be stainless steel anyway, fuel line on the passenger side, new brake lines on the driver's side. And again, take a look at the floors of this thing. They're absolutely as new as you could ever hope to find. Painted red, the same color as the car. There's no sound deadener on them from Chrysler. Parking brakes still hooked up and functional. The drive shaft has new U-joints front and rear. Flowmaster mufflers in the back. 3-inch pipes going in. I'm going to call them, geez, they're 3-inch pipes going out. We got 3-inch in and 3-inch out. Drum brakes in the rear, 8 3/4 inch Mopar rear end in it. Donnie will give you the gear ratio on it once he does the spec sheet on it. Torque boxes in the front are really nice condition. There's no bends or distortion whatsoever to them. You can see the subframes in the back are just like they were in the front also. There's absolutely no dents or marks or indentures through the years. Absolutely nothing. New shocks in the back to coincide with the new shocks in the front. Again, real nice curvature to these springs. They almost look like a set of Superstock springs. Really. I don't know without checking the part numbers. The drop downs in the quarters are just the way they were from the factory. You can see the tabs on the bottoms of the quarter panel just the way they were when they were released from the factory at Chrysler. The gas tank, and I'm going to guess it's a replacement, but there's no dents or marks or scuffs or anything in it either. The higher undercarriage of this car is as it would have been in 1963 had it been a real factory Superstock max wedge car that was released. Turn downs on the 3-inch pipes in the back, just the way it would have been. I don't see anything in this car, and you don't see anything in this car either, that has any indication of ever been modified in any way as far as panel replacement or any structural work done on it. Also, neglected to mention, no leaks on the engine, which is a fresh rebuild, or the transmission, or the bell housing area, or the tail shaft area. I do know that Jeff said the speedometer is not working in the car, but we're going to check it to see whenever Devin and I go for a ride. But at this point, there's nothing leaking here. The undercarriage is just as fresh and clean as it could be if it were a brand new car in 1963 that was released by Plymouth division of Chrysler. Take a look at this guy. It's the Tanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. Okay, this is the interior of our 1963 Max Wedge style 426 Cross Ram Plymouth Belvedere. A really, really neat car. Don't have to worry about a rear view mirror here because there isn't any. That was an option back in '63. Nor is there one on the right-hand side, but they could be added if you chose. It does have a punch button automatic on it, you know, with the park. To put it in park, all you do is just flip the lever down and that shuts the whatever you're in, reverse or neutral or drive, and it puts it into neutral and park comes on. The steering wheel horn. Dual horns, and you can hear them both blowing. You know what? I didn't feel anything on the steering wheel, but when you get inside the car here and take a look, it does have some shrinkage cracks on the very top of the steering wheel. You can't really feel them, but they're there. You can see them, obviously, that they're there. Really nice chrome, like we stated on the outside on this wing area in these cars. Really great looking. Jeff gave us between 1/4 and 1/2 tank of gas. That's functioning. The generator obviously is working on the car. The temperature gauge now is underneath the car. We have the underneath the dash. The oil pressure's there and also the water temperature. You can see it's coming up in temperature. We just fired this guy up. Wipers. We're going to try wipers here in a minute. Probably going to try wipers instead of lights. Okay. There's the wipers, and they are functioning as they should. Fan for the blower. It is working. The blower system in this car for the defrost is functioning, and so are the buttons. They function as they should. Let's see what else we have. We have mentioned those two gauges. Turn signals. Here we go. Turn signal left just beating itself to death over here, and now we're going to do the right one, and it's doing the same act. It's blinking just as it should also. So we have everything functioning in the car. Check this out. A Dixco tack. When did they quit making tacks? 30 years ago? 50 years ago? It's been a while. And it functions, as you can see. Okay, we're going to go for a little ride here and see how this guy runs. Okay, we're going down the road. It's pretty stable. It's pretty straight. Goes down the road just as nice. Little tiny bit of pull to the right, but not very much. It's probably just tire pressure. It's a nice running car. Nice smooth running. Pulls like a wedge should. Nice orbital steering wheel. Everybody thinks that the new steering wheel design is new because it's flat along the bottom, like in the new Corvette or the Ferraris or the Porsches. Guess what? Plymouth was doing it back in 1962 and 63 yet. This is flat along the bottom, round across the top. That's the way they were designed. definitely have to do the speedometer in this guy. It is not functioning. Everything else seems to be working as it should. The amp gauge, the fuel, you see the water temperature is nice and low on it. Oil pressure is nice and high, just the way it should be. We're going down the road. I'm going to guess about 50 miles an hour right now. And the tach's reading 2,000 RPMs. I don't know the gear ratio. Donnie will put that up on a spec sheet, but I'm going to guess 355. Yes. But it's a nice car, very nice tight car. No shakes, shimmies, rattles, squeaks, absolutely nothing. You can see the fitment of everything in this car is really spot on. The headliner is nice and fresh and clean. All the seating area, the fabric, the dashboard, everything in this car is top shelf. It really is. It's a nice representation of a real max wedge car with a real max wedge motor in it for 1963. And it's at Hangsters at Daytona Beach, Florida. And there can't be that many of these guys out there for sale right now. So if you're in the market for one, check it out. Daytona Beach site of Hangsters.